And I'm excited to see you guys here. And even as I look right now, man, what gets me just so excited is knowing that I'm seeing it everywhere. We're feeling it here, man. God really is raising up a generation. Like he is really raising up leaders. When I look at you guys, I don't see just students, man. I see leaders. When I look at you guys, I don't just see teenagers, man. I see people who are going to make an impact on this world. And man, when I see people here just like me, man, I know there's many of you who God's not done with yet. And again, if this is new for you to coming here, even if you've only come here a couple times, and especially if tonight's your first night here, I want to say this so clearly because I really want you to understand, what kind of place this is, okay? Right? What we believe about ourselves is that we are not perfect people, but we are forgiven people. That we don't try to act like we have perfect stories and we have a perfect past, but we know we have a redeemed one. And we don't try to come here and act like we have all the answers because we don't, right? You can look at your friend right now and say, you don't have all the answers, right? We know that we don't have all the answers. But what we do when we come here is we know that we have found the answer and it has satisfied us, and we know that the answer is found in Jesus. And that is what we celebrate, and that is why we're here, and that is who we are. And so listen, today I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my story. And I'm going to encourage you, I'm going to have you think a little bit today about your story. Because each of us have a story. Whether you realize it or not, man, our life is telling a story. Man, and I am not someone, even as I get to carry this title pastor, which really just means a servant of you guys. Man, God has not called me here to preach this and to speak to you guys like I get to do, because when I was born, like out of the womb, like angels came out singing, and I was like, John 3:16, like that's not at all who I was. And as you're going to hear today, man, I'm someone who was chosen by God, who was saved by God, who's been redeemed by God, and was saved by Jesus. And even right now, when I tell you guys you have a story, right? Your life right now is telling a story. I want to just imagine what's going through your mind. And I kind of know, honestly, I know for a lot of us, I get to know some of you guys personally, I get to talk with you, and a lot of you guys aren't much different than me. All right, I know some of us are sitting here who have grown up in church. All right, some of us who have been around in church maybe our whole lives. And you're sitting here and you're going, man, like, that is my story. I just kind of grown up in church my whole life. I just go to church, like that's my story. Number one, I'm going to tell us tonight, first of all, that is not your story. On top of that, you have a way better story than that. But I also know there's a lot of us who are here tonight who do know that we have a story. But I know there's things about our life that we don't like. I know there's things about our life that feels broken. I know there's things about our story that we're not happy with, that we wish was different. And I want to just encourage us tonight to know, to start to think, man, what if that doesn't have to be your story? Like, what if there was a way to live with a better story? I know some of us, if you come here a lot, I mean, there's parts of my story. I share my story a lot. And the reason, again, why I'm going to share it here tonight with us, the reason why this is such a big deal, because for those of us that have been saved by Jesus, this is everything for us. That this is not religion, this is not church. We are people who have real stories. We are people who have really been transformed by Jesus, and that's why we live on mission, right? Because for me, right, I was a kid who grew up in church, right? We're my fellow church kids. Hey, yeah, we grew up in church. I grew up in church. My dad was a pastor. There's a name for pastors' kids. You know what they call us? Hey, yeah, you guys do know, been around church. They call us PKs, right? So I grew up in church my whole life. I was baptized when I was 10. In fact, I even have a picture of little me starting back from my origin days. I think I got a picture. We got a picture? You can throw it up there if it comes up. And it was genuine, right? It was real. It was my own choice, right? At 10 years old, that's my dad baptizing me. From that moment, fast forward to now, I'm in 6th grade. And you can keep that picture up there. I'm in 6th grade now, right? Shout out, where's the 6th graders at? Can we make some noise? I mean, I love having our 6th graders here. Oh, that was kind of a weak clap. We'll celebrate you more later, 6th graders. I was in 6th grade. And I remember sitting in church, and I remember being in places like you are, man. And it wasn't a huge group, but it was a youth group, and people would come up and they would share their story. And man, no one meant any ill harm by it. But I remember hearing people share their story to me, and this is what I would hear in youth group as a little 6th grader. Man, people would come in and talk about this crazy life they live. I did this, I had the drugs, the cars, the women, the parties, all this stuff. But now I don't do that anymore because now I've given my life to Jesus. And no one meant any harm by that. But you know what I heard as a little 6th grader? Well, that's cool. That's good for them. But like, I don't have a story. Like, I don't know what it's like to live life. I've just been a church kid my whole life. Fast forward thinking that now I'm in 8th grade. You can throw that next picture up there. Right, basketball was my whole life. Right, my whole identity was basketball. Please, I showed this picture before, and I will say I made a mistake because the high schooler screenshotted that picture, and it has been around the group chats. It's been a couple years, and I'm gonna trust you guys. Keep your phones away. No blackmail on this day. It is not a bowl cut, as no, it kind of looks like that. It was just a bad hair day. I'll put it that way. But I played basketball growing up. It was my whole life, my whole identity. I get to my freshman year, and I get cut from my freshman basketball team. And I'm telling you this because this was the moment, man, there was so much going in. You can't even see, I was always the smallest out of all my friends. I was like 5'4" my freshman year, like just natural insecurities that just kind of comes with that in comparison and just trying to be a high schooler. And getting cut my freshman team, like I said, it devastated me. Because like I said, I was the only one on my team. All my friends played basketball. My whole life was basketball. And now I felt like I had lost that. I had lost like my sense of self in a way. And it started to make me just very insecure. It started to make me feel worthless. It started to make me feel not needed. I started to not even know, like, man, I was already just dealing with so much insecurities. That moment just crushed me. Listen, I'm telling you that because I don't know what that did in me in that moment is all of a sudden now I had this emotional wound. Whether you realize this now or not, every single one of us are gonna go through things in life that cause us pain and hurt and loss. Right, some of us already right now have went through things like, man, our parents split up and it was chaotic and our home is just broken and we're going through life going, man, is everyone's family this broken or is it just mine? For some of us, man, we've also went through rejection. Right, maybe the girl of your dreams, the boy of your dreams, right, rejected you in front of all your friends. Not only does that hurt, but that is incredibly now embarrassing, right? Maybe there's other forms of rejection. Maybe you've lost someone. Listen to me. The list could go on and on and on. I could spend all day talking about the things we go through. The point I'm making, man, we go through things that cause us pain in life. What went wrong for me is, again, I was a kid who was baptized at 10. I believed in Jesus. But when I started feeling my pain, man, I didn't look to Jesus to be the answer for my pain. I started looking to the things of the world. I started looking to what everyone else was doing. I started looking for ways I could fit in, for friends I could hang out with. I started trying to find an answer for this insecurity that I was carrying, this pain that was inside of me that I was carrying, that I was hiding from everyone else, but nonetheless, man, I was carrying it every day. And I went from this kid who was baptized at 10 years old to getting pulled into just all the mess in high school. High school is nod your head if you know what I'm talking about. The partying, the drugs, just all of that. Like, listen, guys, like I messed up, like bad. I mean, if you think you've messed up, it's one thing to live life apart from God. It's another thing, man, to have a relationship with God and then to literally say, God, I don't want this anymore. I don't want you. I'm going to do things my own way. I'm going to leave and live life how I want. And because of that, I felt even more shame and more brokenness, and it just sent me deeper and deeper into a spiral of just being in this empty, lost, broken place. And I want to talk to us tonight about this, that I can stand here and I can be real with you and not be ashamed of these things, that I can tell you, man, I don't have a perfect past. I haven't been a perfect person. I make mistakes. I have struggles because we have a God who is real. And despite my brokenness, despite what I've done, we have a Savior who came to me and rescued me in my brokenness and was able to set me on a different path, to give me a better story. And no matter where you're at, no matter what you're struggling with, no matter how long or how you've been following Jesus or how short you've been following him, tonight I'm telling you, God is wanting to fill us. He's wanting to do something in us to lead us towards this better story that he has for us. And so very quickly, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I want to walk you through an incredible encounter that Jesus has with this woman at the well. All right, if you brought your Bibles, again, you can open this with me. It's going to be on the screen. I'm going to walk through it kind of quickly. It's in John chapter 4. Okay, this is known as Jesus and the woman at the well. And if you've never heard this story, it's a very interesting story. I'll put it that way. I'll let us go through this experience together. So basically, let me set the scene a little bit. Here's what kind of happens. Jesus is with his 12 disciples, right? He has 12 disciples. At this point, Jesus is doing his thing, right? He's doing miracles. He's doing awesome teachings, right? He's just doing all of these cool things. And there comes a point where he says, okay, that's enough here. We're going to move on. We're going to go to a different city. And he takes the disciples, and they're going to go through this city called Samaria. And as he gets there, he sends his disciples ahead of him. He says, hey, you guys go into the town, get some groceries, get some food for us. I'm really tired. I'm going to hang out here. And it says that he was so tired, he finds a well, and he sits here at this well. And it says, when he was at this well, a woman approaches. And this is the encounter that Jesus has with the woman at the well. So you guys ready for this? You guys look at the screen. Here's what it says. Starting in verse 7, it says, when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink? His disciples had gone into town ahead of him to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, you are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? For Jews did not associate with Samaritans. Whole lot of backstory there. Just know it was like some racist beef going on between them. Jesus answered her, if you knew this gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. So this woman hears this and she's like, okay, you got some water I don't know about? You got some perfect water where if I drink it, I'm never gonna be thirsty again? Her logic tells her, like, she could literally tell Jesus, okay, well, give me that water so I don't have to keep coming to this well every day. Like, let's have it. And Jesus goes on to say, listen, before I give you this living water, listen to what he goes on to say to her. This is the ultimate, like, check yourself. He said to her, go and call your husband to come back. She goes, I have no husband. He said to her, I know. You're right when you say you have no husband. The fact is you've had 5 husbands, and the man you're with now is not your husband. So what you have said right now is quite true. Talk about Jesus giving it, like, keeping it real, right? This poor woman was like just imagine just like shocked in that moment. Immediately she hears that, she's like, who is this guy, right? And she's shocked and she doesn't know what to say. And so she looks at him in kind of like this reverence and a little bit of fear now. She's like, okay, I get there's something different about you. You must be like a prophet or something like that. Like man, like just imagine being that lady and Jesus just tells you straight up everything about you, your deepest secrets. Here's what she goes on to say next. The woman said, I know that the Messiah, who's called the Christ, is coming. When he comes, he will explain everything to us. This is like the ultimate, like, can I say it? In my opinion, this is like such an aura moment from Jesus. Jesus declares to you, the one speaking to you, I am he. And in this moment, listen to me, this woman's life is changed forever. She goes on to go into the city where she lives in this town of Samaria, and she goes on to just tell everyone, man, listen to me, everyone. Everyone in the city, listen, the whole reason she was even there in the first place was because she was there in the middle of the day because she was so ashamed. She knew so much of like yes, I mean, we're going to talk more about this. She had been through 5 husbands. No man wanted her. She was with a guy who wasn't even her husband. Like, she had so much shame that she was there in a place where she didn't want to see anyone. All of a sudden, she has an encounter with Jesus, man. She goes back into her city. She tells everyone, listen to me. I have found the one we are looking for. He knew everything about me. And it says, based on her story, based on the word of her testimony, it said many in that city came to believe. Man, there is so much we can say about that, but I want to just spend a moment telling us this, pulling this from the story for us. What we learned from this encounter, what does this tell us about what Jesus wants to do in our life? What does it tell us about how Jesus wants to give us a better story? Okay, 3 things. You guys still with me? Okay, 3 things I want to show us here. Number 1, it's on the screen. Look at this. Jesus goes after us. Listen to me. Jesus was willing to meet this woman where she was at. Again, if you haven't heard this before, who is Jesus? Jesus was fully God. He was not just a prophet. He was not just a teacher. He was fully God in human form, meaning everything about Jesus fully represents who God is, because he was God. Meaning he did not wait for this woman to get her act together. He did not wait for her to fix herself and come find him in a church. He went to where she was at. And why is this such a big deal? Man, this woman thought, imagine if you were her. Imagine if you were in a situation, man, you have made some choices that you know are not good choices. You have been rejected by so many people. This woman for sure thought her story was over. She thought she was cooked. Like, it is over for her. There's no more chances, man. She thought it's a wrap, man. No one wants me. No one wants to be around me, man. She feels in complete brokenness. And it was in this moment that Jesus is the one who initiates her and seeks her out. My point is this, man, if Jesus is willing to meet this woman and say, your story is not over, Jesus is willing to meet you. Listen, this is what Jesus means when he says, I'm going to give you living water. Any of you guys carry around like a water thing? Anyone walk around with like a gallon of water? Hold it up if you got it. Hold it up right now. Yeah, dude, Connor, me and him literally have the same one. Represent, yes. Health, we're health bros right here. Do you know why we carry those around? We carry it around because guess what? Well, sure, it's healthy, sure. But my point is we get thirsty, right? There's no look at this cup. All right, if I fill this cup up with water and I drink it, it's going to be empty, and guess what? I'm going to be thirsty again. And I'm going to drink it, I'm going to be thirsty again. I'm going to be thirsty again. There's no cup that I can fill up where I'm like, this is the cup. If I drink this cup, I will never need water again, right? That's never going to happen. What Jesus is illustrating is what he's telling us. He goes, listen, your soul is thirsty. Your soul is hungry, man. And when you look for fulfillment in the things of this world, you are never satisfied. It is never enough. You can look for what you need in the things of this world, and whether it's in pleasure and success, in money, in people. I mean, nothing in this life will satisfy you. But Jesus says, I am the one who can offer you living water. Because there is nothing that can heal your brokenness like I can. There is nothing that can heal your pain like I can. There is nothing that can fill the emptiness that's in your soul like I can. He says, I am the one who can offer you living water. And so because of that, he goes on to the second part, right? Jesus confronts our sin. Before he offers us living water, listen, he tells this poor woman everything about her life. He confronts everything about her. And why does he do this? He doesn't do this to shame her. He doesn't do this to guilt her. He doesn't do this to yeah, you got a lot of problems, woman. I'm just want to let you know you got some issues. No, he doesn't do it for that reason. He does it because he wants her to know, listen, I know everything about you. I know all of your mistakes. I know all of your weakest points. I know every regret you've ever had, and yet I still don't reject you. I mean, do you understand right now that God knows every thought you've ever thought, every bad thing you've ever said, everything that you've thought, like all the regrets that we have, he knows about all of it. Like there's no hiding from God. And yet, he doesn't reject us. And why does he do it? Because he knows, man, this is the whole reason why he came. Have you guys heard of this verse, Romans 6:23? Raise your hand if you've ever heard of this. I'm going to say it anyways, even if you haven't. Right? Romans 6:23, it says, for the wages of sin is death, but the free gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus. This is why he came. Our sin just means our separation from God. It's our rebellion towards God of saying, God, I don't want to do things your way. I'm going to do things my way. And when Jesus hung there on that cross, when he died for us, he came into our darkness to do what only he could do, being the only one who lived a perfect life. So when he hung there on that cross, man, when he died, what he was doing in that moment is all of God's wrath, all of his punishment towards our sin, man, it went towards Jesus on the cross. And so when it comes, man, do I want to experience healing in God? We have to understand, man, when we ask for forgiveness, when we come to him, when we bring it to the light, it's not because, man, we're asking for forgiveness. It's because we know forgiveness is already made available to us. And so here's the last thing I want to end here with us. Jesus offers himself to us. Listen, Jesus, he didn't hide himself from the woman at the well. Remember, he revealed himself. He said, the one you are speaking to, I am he. And I know because I go through this. I know because I've been there. I know for some of us, we're here tonight and you've been coming to church maybe for a while. Maybe you finally came with your friend because you've tried church before. Maybe you've tried praying before, and it can feel like God is hiding himself from us. It can feel like, God, why don't you feel more real to me? And I want to encourage us tonight that maybe it's not that God is hiding himself from us, but maybe number one, how often have we actually asked God to reveal himself to us? Maybe there's things we're hiding from him, and there's things that can cause us distraction from him. But for this woman, she had a life-changing encounter because she fully brought everything she had to Jesus. And Jesus offered himself to her, and he offers himself to us. And so I want to just say this right now. Listen to me, guys. Jesus is the answer. He's the answer we're looking for. He's the answer all of us are looking for. He's the thing that our soul is desperately searching for, and he makes himself available to us. And so here in a second, I'm gonna invite us to do something here tonight. And before I do, I wanna just tell you, man, this is truly what changed my whole life. There was a moment, man, I'd given my life to Jesus. I was going through all my mess, and I just said, you know what? I believe he's real. I'm gonna have to stand before him and see him one day. Let me just try giving this whole following Jesus thing 100% and just see what happens in my life. And I did that, and guess what? Man, nothing changed right away, besides my mindset. I said, I'm not living for myself, I'm living for you, God. And I had these moments, I was doing this for months. I was giving God everything I had, but there was still just like this weird, just disconnect I felt like between me and him. And I just can tell you what happened to me. There came a moment in my life where I was just praying alone, and I just said, God, I can't have a God who feels like he's somewhere up there in the sky. I need a God who I know hears my prayers. I need to serve a God who I know is real to me. And I just was pouring my heart out to a God who I didn't even know was hearing my prayers. But in that moment of honesty and being real with God, it was the first time, I felt God's presence fall on me. And when I experienced that love, the only way I knew how to describe it was, man, this is what I was looking for the whole time. And so what we're doing here, like I said before worship, man, the part of what we're doing when we come here is, again, it's not about the building. It's not about calling this church. It's about any time we gather, anywhere we're at, and we're coming together with the mindset of saying, God, we want you. God, we need you. And I believe God will meet us in these moments. And so in this next moment, we're gonna have a song here in a second. We're gonna have a chance for all of us, if you want to, man, just to have a moment with God. To remember, number one, that God meets us where we're at. That when we have these moments of surrender, right? When we confront our sin and say, God, here's my struggles, here's what I'm going through, I give it to you, God. It is then in those moments that he can meet us, because it is he and he alone who can be our answer.